Take off the straight people, right? So they have like. Yes. All right, we'll get started here. We're having a couple of technical difficulties with Wi-Fi and other things. We'll get rolling. So you start off with health services committee.
Right, opening health services committee meeting at 6:01 p.m. Before we get into the resolutions, we have Jason Fredberg, who actually has good news for us today. Come on up. What's the deal?
I don't think you would have understand.
No, he sometimes does.
I think last time I was here was sort of bad news. I was explaining that we needed to slow down the influx of clients coming into the clinic because we were so short staffed, we couldn't really keep up with the demand. Good news is that we've made some real strides in that. So we've hired, we're almost fully staffed. We have 2 new people that are in the pipeline that have accepted offers. We have another person that we're waiting for them to get their degree. The degree has to be conferred before we can make them an offer, and then we would be fully staffed. So we are, as of actually July 1st, we are fully open. Our doors are back open, providing all services, no restrictions. So we're really pleased about this. One of the new people is actually not new. They're a returning employee. So they were really great employees before they left and did some other things. So overall, it's really good news.
Awesome.
So I just wanted to share it and thank you for your support through this. Any questions or?
Did the returning employee seek you out or did you seek her out or him out?
It was, that's a good question. We've kind of been in similar circles for a while. I don't know how it actually came about, but with my clinical director, Heather Halmadot, she was speaking with them and expressed an interest to come back. So, and we also like the fact that we think it says a lot about our clinic that he's not the only one we've had over the years that has left and come back. So,
Did you happen to ask him what enticed him to come back?
he missed the work environment. He missed the support that he had at the clinic, amongst the staff and administration of the clinic. You know, I've always said I'm really proud of our clinic and how it's run, and you know, I'd like to think that that's part of it. I think that we're a better clinic than other clinics around. So
Good for you. Congratulations.
thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Tammy and Laura. Just want to take a couple minutes to tell us something about the outreach program for immunization for seniors.
Sure.
Be very brief.
So we just wanted to talk about a collaboration between our 2 departments. We were notified that there was some COVID money left over, we being the Department of Human Services. And the purpose of that money was to make sure that seniors got their vaccinations, all vaccinations. And they wanted us to kind of target the underserved populations. So I arranged a meeting with Laura and Kerry Miller, and we work really very well together. So our department sent out a survey to find out what the barriers are, why people are not getting vaccinated. And not surprisingly, transportation is an issue. There's also some confusion about payment, like what parts of Medicare will pay for vaccinations. Because of the prevalence of respiratory illnesses in our county, we really are focusing on the RSV vaccine to make sure that our seniors get that, because a lot of them were hospitalized last year during the winter. Our goal is to keep people in their home for as long as possible. So I think this is a great collaboration with public health. They have taken the reins. We Jillian Jenkins has created an information, like a PowerPoint information session to talk about the vaccines that seniors need, why they need them, and they've arranged clinics. So we are going, public health is going to have clinics. I'm gonna make sure that I'm there. I've spoken to Legislator Thornton and Legislator Legg about the underserved communities on the mountaintop. We're going to Halcott. We're gonna use a new van. And we're excited about it because it's a really, really, really important thing. We have the money. I didn't want the money to go back to the state or to New York City. I wanted to serve the people here. So, we got together and it went great and we're great partners. Yes, sir.
I first want to say thank you. It's wonderful. I think this is great. Halcott was very happy.
Yeah.
And so I spoke to a couple of the supervisors on the mountaintop. And they want me to come once again to the next mayors and supervisors meeting, which is in a week or two.
Okay.
And then we're gonna decide how they want to handle, whether they want to do one on one side or one in the middle, or you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I will get back to you that right away.
Okay.
And the supervisor from Halcott will set something up, which I think that would be fantastic, and let me know what day it is and I'll go out there.
Okay. Yeah. And what we were thinking, if we set up the clinics and people don't have transportation, we have a van. I mean, I can drive the big van and go pick people up. We just want to, we want to help people get over those barriers. And there's also a pocket of the population, since our agency serves people age 60 and older, there are people who are between age 60 and 65. They're not ready, they're not eligible for Medicare yet. So there are people who don't have any insurance at all, and we're going to use the grant money to help these people. I recorded 5 PSAs on WRIP the other day. Have I been on the radio yet? Do you listen to WRIP?
I don't get in the shot, it's the only station I do.
So we wanted to get the word out and we want to make sure that we reach everybody. So please talk a lot about it. We're
So
here to
I'll
help.
ask you one more question.
Sure.
Is there a possibility that you do a wellness check also, where you take like blood pressure and stuff like that, or?
We can look into that. Regulatorily, public health was discouraged from doing blood pressure checks when I got started here way back because of the fact that we don't have a way of following up somebody with a primary care provider. If we had a foolproof system to do that, we would like nothing more than to institute blood pressure checks and wellness. So
The only reason I ask is because I know you're not gonna be flooded with people. So everybody comes, if they could get the most that they could actually get, that'd be great.
Mhm.
But I do think you're doing a great job and I say thank you.
Thank you.
We do have, I don't know if everybody can see it, but Harry is on Zoom as well as Amanda Lyons. Greg Warren.
Get right into our first question. First one, approving individual providers contract, preschool special education program.
True.
Drew, Lucas, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Approving individual provider contract, preschool special education program. Davis and True, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing conference attendance, Farzana Musami, Greene County Family Planning.
Davis.
Davis and Bloomer, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing conference attendance, Marianne Powers, FNP-BC, Greene County Family Planning.
Davis.
Davis,
True.
True, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Accepting minutes, Medical Professional Advisory Committee, Utilization Review Committee, October, November, and December, Q4 2023.
Davis.
Davis and Hobart, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing agreement and budget amendment, Greene County Public Health Department and Health Research Inc., Public Health Emergency Preparedness. Hobart and Boomer, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Is there anything else to come before Health Services this evening? Motion closed, Blumer,
Second.
Hooper.
What's that? Get back to this. Hey, good evening. I'd like to call County Resources to order at 6:12. We have two action items this evening, and it involves our community college. First one being our public hearing for the 2024-2025 operating budget. I need a motion on this. Drew, second.
I'll second.
Warrington, any discussion?
Quick question, Mike.
Sure.
Are we still in the budget for the money that we've been putting for the
CARES?
residents to offset? Yes.
Yes, that'll be the next resolution. That's the 50,000 we'll be doing.
That we-
That's for the one semester.
For the second.
Yeah, for the second one.
And it doesn't have to go in this budget, upcoming budget, or next year.
Right.
That's what I was. Answered the question.
It'd be good to get the stats again too on that, how many kids are using it from the college, from Greene County. Nice to know that it's,
30.
I know last year was like 37. I don't know what it was for this next set, but it's being used.
Nope.
All right, anybody else on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so carried. The second one is authorizing agreement between Greene County and the Columbia Green Community College Foundation and authorizing payment. Motion on that. Lingers, second. Lucas. Discussion on that. Tell me this is what that is. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Anything else come before County Resources?
Motion closed.
True to close. We are closed. Thank you.
Are you guys ready for that, or are you gonna need a little bit of time? Yep, you're okay? We're okay. I literally have 1 minute until the posted time.
Okay.
It was scheduled at 6:15 and advertised at 6:15, so. Gotta make sure we get 6:15.
Making some changes.
Still think we should.
Want to call my heavy hitter, Kevin?
Not sure what I'm saying. It's here. At the end, 3 recommendations.
Yeah.
Great thing.
Yeah.
I got you.
There's a weight measure. That's sort of.
My days, last week, give you all the money in my pocket right there. Yeah. I had rest of the summer. In Columbia, I look at the work at the farm. So, work about 1 hour. Okay, Scott, I think we're good. 1 hour you'd be done. I would love a pleasure telling you. Tonight's free public hearing at 6:15. Orange County Route 40 Maple Crest Road, David Hill Bridge Replacement Project. PIN number 1761889. And I'll have Tammy read that notice.
Notice of public hearing, County Route 40 Maple Crest Road over Batavia Hill Bridge Replacement Project, PIN 1761.92. Please take note that the County of Greene, New York County will conduct a public hearing regarding the proposed public projects completely replaced. The bridge that carries County Route 40 Maple Crest Road over Batavia Hill Creek in the town of Wyndham, Greene County, New York, PIN 8756.63 project. Public hearing will be held at the Greene County Legislative Chambers located at 411 Main Street, 4th floor, Catskill, New York, commencing at 6:15 p.m. on July 8, 2024. Public hearing also can be viewed by access to the following link. Purpose of the public hearing is to outline the purpose, use, and the benefit to be served by the proposed project, the proposed location of the proposed project, and the reasons for the selection of that location, reasonable alternatives, if any, to the proposed project, the property interest to be acquired to complete the proposed project, the general effect of the proposed project on the environment and its social and economic impacts on the residents of the town of Wyndham and County of Greene, and other information that may be pertinent to the proposed project. The location of the proposed project is the area on and around the bridge that carries County Route 40 Maple Crest Road over the Batavia Hill near the intersection of County Route 40 and County Route 56 in the town of Wyndham, New York. Persons may appear in person or by agent and will be given a reasonable opportunity to present oral or written statements and to submit other documents or information concerning the proposed project. Persons who wish to file written statements and other documents in place of or in addition to oral statements made at the information meeting and public hearing should mail such statements or documents to the attention of Scott Superintendent, Greene County Highway and Solid Waste Department, 240 West Main Street, PO Box 485, Catskill, New York, 414. And the alternative written statements and documents can be emailed to the Greene County Highway and Solid Waste Department at highway@greenecountyny.gov. Written comments and documents received before July 24th, 2024 will be made part of the record. Property owners who may subsequently wish to challenge the condemnation of their property via judicial review may do so only on the basis of issues, facts, and objections raised at the hearing. A record of the hearing will be kept, including written statements and documents submitted, and will be made available to the public for examination by appointment and with adherence to proper health protocols in the office of the Greene County Administrator located at 411 Main Street, Catskill, New York, and in the office of the Greene County Clerk located at 411 Main Street, Catskill, New York. Americans with Disabilities Act always to request accommodations for a disability, please call the Greene County Highway and Solid Waste Department at 518-943-4600. Please request such accommodations 3 days in advance.
Thanks, Dan. And as usual, the purpose of a public hearing is for the public to get information and ask questions. So if there is anybody here that's going to speak on this, just raise your hand. I'll call on you and give you your name where you live for the record. And we're going to run this a little bit differently. Scott's going to have a presentation for this. So we'll start off with that.
Thank you and good evening. As Tammy said, this is a public hearing for County Route 40 Bridge Project to the Batavia Hill in the town of Wyndham. Just to give a quick background, this was placed on the New York State Transportation Improvement Program several years ago. It's in the preliminary design phase. We have our engineering firm here to go through a couple of things, as well as our right-of-way specialist, RK Height. Right now, this public hearing is to pretty much go over the right-of-way and acquisition process for this project. We did have a public meeting, not a public hearing, but a public meeting back on May 15th, 2023, where we addressed some comments and concerns of the general public. But with that, now I'll address to John Beaumont, RK Height, to go through the right-of-way and acquisition phase.
Thank you, Scott, for the introduction. Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight. As indicated, it's a public hearing on this project. Go over the project, some detail to explain what the project involves, to explain the alternatives that were considered. And I'm here in particular to speak about some of the procedures and about the right-of-way acquisition process for county acquiring any necessary right-of-ways to be able to conduct this project. They mentioned that the oral statements made during the session tonight will be audio and video recorded. There'll be minutes to the hearing available. There are also certain documents that have been pre-marked as exhibits that will be incorporated into the record, and anybody who wants to review the record will be able to see those exhibits as well. The exhibits are, Exhibit 1 is a copy of the public notice of the hearing. Exhibit 2 is an affidavit of mailing of the public notice. Exhibit 3 is an affidavit of the publication of the legal notice in the appropriate publications, which were the Mountain Eagle and the Albany Times Union. Exhibit 4 is the design report for the project. We copies of slides from the presentation that will be given by the engineering firm regarding the project. And again, I know this has been said, but just so you're all aware that after the meeting tonight, you can submit any comments in writing that you wish to make regarding the project. Submit them to Mr. Templeton at the post office box that was given, or you can email them to him at the highway department. There will be a copy of the project scoping report, final design report prepared by Barton & Lease, the engineering firm that the county has retained for this project, with many of the technical details, the scope and evolution of the project, alternatives considered, different environmental, historical matters that were considered. Again, that's part of the record of this hearing as Exhibit 4. There'll be a PowerPoint presentation with some technical information on the project given tonight, including some slides that will also be made part of the record for review after the hearing. And at this time, I would ask that any pre-marked exhibits be formally admitted into the record of the proceedings. The preferred design alternative that was determined for this project involves acquisition of some private property. The county is required to follow a specific process to acquire the property rights that are needed for the construction of the project. The technical portion of the hearing will include an explanation of that process. And then at the conclusion of the technical presentation, as indicated, they'll open the floor for comments from the public. They're not going to be answering any questions, but if you have any comments you want to put on the record tonight, you'll have the opportunity to do that. I'd like to speak, actually to introduce Byron from Barton & Lease to make the engineering presentation regarding the project.
Good evening, everybody. As John said, my name is Byron Rich for Barton & Judas. We're the design engineers that are working on this project. So the project location is in the town of Wyndham. It's on County Route 40 over the Batavia Kill. Project involves a bridge replacement and some geometric and safety improvements at the intersection. County Route 56 intersects with County Route 40 just west or just east of where the bridge is. So based on that proximity, that's what's bringing up the need to take a look at reconfiguring the intersection. The work that we're doing on the intersection is what's necessitating the need to acquire some right of way from the property. The project limits are about 850 total feet of roadway reconstruction. And that's 550 feet along County Route 40 and 300 feet along County Route 56. Now, here's an aerial image of where the project is. Obviously, the footage is sort of blue. I mean, you can see where the intersection is, and really any work needed to be done on the bridge would have some kind of impact on the intersection. These are just a few photos of the existing bridge. These photos show the downstream side of the bridge, so the south elevation view. These views show the north elevation of the upstream side of the bridge. This is looking across the bridge. And these next two slides are pictures of the intersection. It just kind of shows there's an abandoned building right at the intersection that has an impact on the site distances for cars that are basically making any kind of turning movement through that intersection. So the project objectives, first and foremost, is to replace the bridge with a new bridge. The existing bridge was built in 1936, so it's well past its expected lifespan. So the main objective is to replace the bridge with a new bridge that has approximately 75-year service life. We want to do it in a cost-effective manner, both in terms of construction dollars today and future maintenance dollars in the future. The third objective is to address the geometric and safety concerns of the intersection. I have a couple of slides later that will show what the existing site distance values are and what the proposed site distance values are. That'll give you a little more information on what the issues are. And the fourth objective is to improve hydraulic capacity of the bridge. We want to make sure that storms that everybody knows are increasing frequently, we want to make sure that the new bridge is designed properly in order to convey those flows through the structure. So this is a quick view. I won't get into all the numbers, but I just wanted to show that all of the turning movements come from County Route 40 and County Route 56. As of today, as of existing conditions, do not meet the standards for site distance. We've looked at 3 different project alternatives. Alternative 1 is called a null alternative. That basically means the county doesn't do anything. We just continue on intermittent maintenance on the bridge. That didn't meet any of the project objectives, so we ruled that alternative out pretty quickly. Alternatives 2 and 3 both involve bridge replacement. Alternative 2 would replace the bridge exactly how it looks today. You have the same alignment. We would not do any work to the intersection. And alternative 3 is the proposed alternative that we're working towards, where we are slightly realigning the intersection so that we can improve the site distances. So that's actually some of what's on the slide. So yeah, alternative 3 keeps the bridge approximately where it is now, but has a slightly different skew on the bridge. Work that we're doing on the highway would basically help the traffic flow through that intersection a little bit better. It would wind up shifting the intersection slightly north so that we kind of like flatten out the curve that's in the roadway right now to improve upon the site distances. This alternative meets DOT's requirements for hydraulic design. Basically means that for the 50-year design flood, and we would have just over 2 feet freeboard between water surface elevation for 50-year flood and the low board above the bridge. And 100-year flood would pass under the low board without touching the low board. So this is a proposed plan for alternative 3. We're kind of smoothing out that curve a little bit pushing the intersection to the north. And by doing that, that allows us to increase the site distances. So again, the table on the top left, the one on the existing slide showed that there were the 3 turning movements through that intersection were all not meeting standards. Now we're able to meet standards on 2 out of the 3 turning movements. This is the last slide, and then I'll hand it back over to John, but this shows the right-of-way acquisitions that are required to achieve alternative. So the large blue trapezoidal shape would be a full fee taking of the property. That's from a private property owner. The right-of-way taking on the north side of the road is from that's a fee taking, a small fee taking that comes from the Catskill Mountain Foundation. And then on the bottom left of the screen, so the southwest corner, that's a small piece of land that is owned by the town of Windham that they've at least indicated to the county that the town will donate that property. So with that said, I will pass it back over to John to get into some more of the specifics about the right of acquisition.
So in order to accomplish this project, it's necessary for the county to obtain rights of way over certain nearby properties. And I just wanted to go over the process for the county to obtain those rights of way from private owners. Essentially, there are 4 steps in the acquisition process. There's an initial meeting with each property owner. There's an appraisal of the right of way that is required over each property. There's the establishment of term is just compensation for that right of way. And they use the term negotiating a settlement. And there's also a transference of a legal deed for the right of way that the county needs to accomplish the property. Primary goal of the county through the process is to negotiate a fair determination of just compensation with each private property owner. So the first step is a preliminary meeting with one of RK Heights property rights specialists. The specialist will contact each property owner to schedule a convenient time to meet at the property. At that meeting, the property rights specialist from RK Heights will provide the owner with information about the process for acquisition and explain the proposed impacts to their particular property from the project. They'll also inspect the property, gather some preliminary information. That's the person with whom that property rights specialist that's at that first meeting will be the contact person for the property owner as the process continues. Next step is to appraise the property. Appraisal is used to determine fair market value of the property interest that's needed by the county in order to perform the project. The appraiser researches and analyzes the real estate market in the area with comparable sales data and evaluations of similar properties. Then the appraiser inspects each property to determine any specific information relevant to that particular property. Property owner is given the opportunity to accompany the appraiser while the appraiser is doing that inspection, and it's encouraged that the property owner should certainly take advantage of that opportunity if they can, because of course no one knows the property better than they do if there are any particular special factors that should be considered by the appraiser. Appraiser then prepares a report documenting his findings and stating his determination of fair market value of the interest in the property needed by the county for the project. Term just compensation is the price that the county has to pay to acquire the property interest, the right of way over the property, whatever the interest needed with each particular property will be. The county establishes an amount that it believes to be just compensation, and it will not be anything less than the highest appraisal amount that is provided during the appraisal process. It's determined to be an amount that essentially reflects a price that a neutral willing buyer and a neutral willing seller would agree upon to transfer, again, whatever property interest, right of way or other interest is required. So to avoid confusion, the county will also always provide a written offer for each property interest that they want to acquire. It'll include a statement not only of the just compensation amount, but also the basis for that amount, a description of the property and the interest that's going to be acquired. The property rights specialist from RKI will contact each property owner to schedule a convenient time to meet and to go over in detail the written offer and what has gone into determining that offer. A point that deserves mentioning and clarification is that although federal and state statutes and procedural rules regarding this type of an acquisition often use the term negotiations, it's not actually a negotiating process. By federal and state statute, the county can and will only make one offer for what they have determined to be a just compensation for the property right. The county is required to offer the full amount of, again, the highest appraisal amount for that property right that's been determined. And unless there are at some point compelling reasons to change that offer, the county will stand by that offer. If the property owner accepts the offer, then the property rights specialist will prepare necessary papers and essentially schedule a real estate closing to have the particular interest, right of way or other interest deeded or otherwise transferred to the county in exchange for payment of the just compensation amount. If the property owner does not accept the county's offer, not required to, they can't agree on a just compensation amount, then the property owner can agree to what they call an advance payment agreement, by which they agree to sell the property interest to the county, but they reserve the right not only to receive the just compensation amount that the county has offered, but to also file a claim to try to obtain additional compensation, require them to take certain steps and get their own appraisal and some things like that. So just to quickly summarize the process that the county uses, again, the property rights specialist will meet with the property owners to provide information regarding the project and impacts to that person's property. They'll then have an appraisal done on the property. The appraisal will determine the fair market value of the interest in property that's going to be acquired by the county. The county will establish just compensation, make a written offer, and hopefully if it's a acceptable just compensation amount, there will be an agreement, and that right away or other property interest will be transferred to the county in exchange for payment. The county in RKI understand that the right-of-way process is something that most people aren't familiar with. But please be assured that everyone will work with you and try our best to make it as understandable and as easy for the property owners that have to go through that. So this concludes the technical portion of this hearing. An important aspect of the hearing is receiving comments from the general public regarding the project. So we're going to open the floor for any comments. Understand that the required format for the hearing, again, which is established by federal and state law and regulation, does not allow questions and answers. But again, all statements and comments that are made tonight will become part of the record. And as indicated before, everyone has the opportunity to submit written comments and questions after tonight's hearing to Scott at the county building or to email. Thank you.
So having heard that presentation, anyone here this meeting that wishes to be this public hearing for County Route 40 Maple Crest Road over the Batavia Hill Bridge replacement project in 1761.92. Again, is there anyone here this evening which is to be heard on the County Route 40 Maple Crest Road over Batavia Hill Bridge replacement project in 1761.92? Twice? Once 3 times. Is there anyone here that wishes to be heard on the County Route 40 Maple Crest Road over the Batavia Hill Bridge Replacement Project in 1761.9. Nothing. We'll close this public hearing.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to open up the Public Safety Committee meeting at 6:42 PM. We have two proposed action items. Before we get into that, we have the Director of the 911 Center, John Farrell, with us tonight.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'll just bring you up to speed. I only have a couple of numbers that I normally break it down. But the software was down today, weren't able to get all the numbers, but for the total calls for the month was 3,212. The inbound phone calls, which includes the 911 and the admin's line, was 3,452. Hazmat team, no calls this past month, and the Gifford team had one call in the town of Ashland. The two resolutions that are before you tonight. The first one is the authorization of purchase of equipment for the backup 911 center. This includes 2 additional consoles, radio core, which will give a truly redundant radio system. Second resolution is the approval to move 76,262 from fractional line to equipment expense. The equipment here would be used for the backup and also for the tower in Durham. Dan, you got anything you would like to add? No, very basic. Okay. Just want to give a short in regard to OSHA update where we are. July 22nd. Looks like it's going to be the public cutoff for any comments. I'm happy to report that the National Volunteer Fire Council, which are located in Washington, D.C., and they're also the spokesman for all the volunteer firefighters throughout the country, is working day after day with our elected officials in Washington, D.C., trying to maintain and stay on top of the issue. But as I'm hoping that our firefighters and leaders in the fire department in Greene County have submitted some of their concerns. And once we get past July 22nd, I'm sure it'll be a good 6 months to a year before we hear how things are moving forward. One item I'm hoping is that our volunteer leadership in the country will be sitting at the table moving forward. That's all I have. Any questions?
I have a question for Dan on these, the purchase for the backup equipment. The analog radio research, is that what we have in the county is 60?
Yeah, so that leaves, we're using 45 or 48 now. So basically you buy them in blocks. So we have to go to 60.
They're still analog.
Yeah, so our system is analog, and there's digital equipment, the backhaul is still analog. But we can't go to a digital system until everything could be a digital system. We're still another 5 years out before we can be in that.
Another question for Dan. I still get Some constituents asking from Diamond Notch and Lanesville about the cell service. Really,
That's cell service is beyond our scope. That's up to cell carriers if they want to put something in there. We know it's a problem area, but there's a very small population there. I can't see how a commercial provider see a benefit there.
Not done, Paul. There's dead spots in Cookside.
Yeah,
think we all have.
I talk to Eddie probably every week, couple of times.
Just making sure.
It's a sad scenario. It is what it is. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. And tonight we have with us Sheriff Pete Kuzminski.
Good evening, everybody. So, last month we had 144 civil attempts, served 71 civil papers, issued 175 traffic tickets, investigated 34 traffic accidents, made 34 arrests and 1 DWI arrest. We handled 615 calls for service and made 287 traffic stops. So on June 1st, the starting jail population was 32, and as of June 30th, it was 27. High for the month being 32. Corrections officers did 42 transports, traveling 1,589 miles, totaling 81.25 hours, moving 39 inmates. We have 1 state-ready inmate in our custody. One interesting case this past month is as a result of an ongoing drug investigation, we executed a search warrant in the town of Durham, where we recovered 2 assault rifles, along with high-capacity magazines, a flamethrower, a quantity of fentanyl, crack, mushrooms, drug paraphernalia, and a large sum of cash. That investigation remains ongoing. Lastly, tonight, I want to introduce our new community wellness director, Kate Murphy, who lives in Leeds and comes to us with a tremendous amount of experience. Kate is a great fit for our Impacted Citizens program and our LEAD program. She will also be handling our reentry coordination in the jail and our officer wellness program. So, Kate, if you'd like to say a few words.
Hey, so I'm Kate Murphy. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. Before coming to the sheriff's office, I was in Columbia County. I was working in crisis in the clinic and doing court ordered anger management. Prior to that, I was in Dutchess County. I worked at the Stabilization Center, Public Mental Health, and Mental Health America on their crisis team, working with their program called BEAT, Behavioral Evaluation Assessment Team, working with law enforcement, meeting people with mental illness needs in the streets. I look forward to working Sheriff's Office, Greene County, and anybody who knows anybody who's impacted by drugs, addiction, mental health, pre-arrest, please call, ask for Kate, and we can see what's going on and how to help that person. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I had any questions?
Talk to Sean and sort on the range. We're gonna try to do this later or what?
I don't have enough time.
Yeah, I know we changed the location on our property. Scott still. Yeah, I don't know where that's going to. We'll talk about it in environmental. That's been. I'm not sure. I'm going. Any other? Thank you. Thank you. Sure.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, I'm glad to see, I know, I don't know if anybody caught it, but up in Albany County, Vermont's westernmost school district turned down their budget twice. And they wound up losing their SRO. And I gotta tell you, it's a detriment to their county to have to lose an SRO like that, because there's nothing but complaint or compliments on all of our SROs, so. It's a shame if they're gonna lose that.
Okay. On the proposed action items, number one, authorizing the purchase of equipment for 911 backup center.
Marquez?
Martinez, Handle, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carry. Number two, budget amendment dash GRC Emergency Services Capital Project number 135-2021, statewide interoperable communication.
Davis.
Handle and Davis, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carry. Anything else to come before public safety?
I'll second that.
Davis, second that.
Open County Services at 6:52. We have one action item. But before we do that, I would invite all legislators up to the front and Tammy Bone. We have a Steinberg grant here for the youth fair for the youth of the year. No. It's also Harry.
Is somebody looking for Harry?
Anybody else do Harry?
Oh, got to tell you that it was. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I could show you the picture that he sent me.
Got a nice big pizza.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be cool.
Here we go.
Charlie, squeeze in there.
Pizza me.
There we go. Not that, Charlie. All right, a couple more. Here we go. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes. Welcome. Rich Harry at a buffet.
Take a look.
And we're presenting those on the opening ceremonies, right? That's Thursday, July 25th.
Okay. One proposed action item awarding meat, canned goods and frozen supplies bid to Ginsburg's. Leg and handle. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That is carried. Does anyone else have anything for county services this evening?
Motion to close.
That's that, we got, Veteran Services Director here.
Oh.
Appoints a veteran director.
We have Director of Weights and Measures.
Lance, did you want to go up?
No, that's under.
Public Works.
Public Works.
He works in the public, sure.
Might be.
Wait a minute.
You can go.
If you're under public works, yeah.
Yeah, Public Works.
Probably. Sorry about that.
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, we have Michelle here. Anybody have any questions? Okay, Michelle is here. She is.
I didn't have anything to bring before the board, but if you have any questions, I'm here to answer the monthly report went out last week.
Thank you.
Are we, what's going on with the office? That we were talking about perhaps expanding and.
I actually deferred to Sean. I was unable to get a response from Greene, Columbia Memorial Hospital. So Sean said he would reach out to them, and I believe he may have encountered the same issue that I had, where responses were coming 6, 7, 8 months down the road to emails that were sent in November and February. So we're just kind of sitting in this limbo, and then every once in a while I'll get an email from the same stuff, right? I don't remember, I apologize, I didn't remember the last name, so just kind of waiting. That's all I have there.
Yeah, they have a leadership change over there too. And they got kind of, that's right.
I think on our end, we're ready to go, we're just waiting for them to approve the final plan.
Anything else? Anyone else? What order to adjourn? Handle.
Like,
And Leg, we are adjourned.
They call Public Works Committee to the session at 6:57. And our generous highway superintendent said Lance would go first. He lets me stay late, so I'm gonna stay this. I'm gonna stay on. You get overtime, right? That's what it is.
Nobody's home, so there's nowhere to go.
Hello, everybody. Lance Fisher. I am Greene County Weights and Measures and Consumer Affairs. I think I know pretty much everybody in here. Gave you guys a couple of handouts. I went to a couple of town meetings. They asked me to come, just give a presentation, tell them what I do, what I do out there, what I'm looking for. So I handed them out, had Kevin give everybody one. The reason I came in is in the last couple of months, I went through a 6-week state audit from the comptroller's office. I know all you guys got it in your emails. I feel like I did extremely well in that audit. There was 9 to 11 counties that did it. They used Greene County as a pilot program due to Ags and Markets telling them to do Greene County first. They had a feeling that I would do pretty good. I'm a one-man department. 6 weeks is a long time as an auditor. Some of you probably know. And at the end of it, we got our draft. There was only 3 recommendations, which I feel is really well. And one of the recommendations I had them put on the list because I felt like we need an answer to do it. And the other recommendations were remedied while she was here doing the audit. One was to do a complaint form online and track it. And another one was with package checking. Just talking to Mike about this. I'm not that good at it. No counties really are because it's not mandated by the state. So we collaborated with other local counties and we're doing cross training. We already started. So I've been working with Albany County, Fulton County, Montgomery County, neighboring counties that's in my jurisdiction with Ags and Markets working with. But I know if you did read that audit report, there was a lot of stuff in there. So if you have any questions, love talking about my job. I'll try to answer anything you have.
Lance, on this discovery of errors.
Yep.
On that, was that all in Greene County? I seen Columbia County on one of them. You
So,
work with Columbia County?
You're talking about the audit?
Yeah.
So in the audit on, I don't know exactly what page it was, but it says, what do we recommend? There was 3 action items.
Okay.
For me. And the second one, maintain complete records. There is no way to maintain a complete record. I've been trying to figure this out since day one. I don't know when a business opens, a business closes. Say something opens up in the county, there's no way of notifying it. And I presented this to the auditor, and she's like, that's exactly right. So I don't know if it has to go through taxation or to another department, but there's no real way of keeping an accurate list of what opens and what closes in the county, except for me driving around the county every day doing what we've been doing for 100 years. Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot.
Chamber of Commerce wouldn't
No, because there's so many different aspects of my job that, yeah, it works for parts of it, but nothing works as a generalization.
What was the biggest problem you came across? I mean, is there anything as far as regulatory items, controlled substances, something like that, even though it's like with the whole
So
dispensaries and
you're
things
probably
they
talking
wanna
about
bring in?
marijuana. Marijuana, Kevin probably be more of an expert at this, since his state board. They're gonna form a task force.
You're an expert.
The state kind of wants us to stay away from that. They want us to do only the scales and test them like a cash for gold scale or a pharmacy scale. I can go in and test the scale, but they don't want me testing product like I do in a supermarket doing fruits and vegetables or something like that. It's hands off right now. I don't know if that answers the question, but it's gonna be there's gonna be a state team that comes around and does that.
Will that be through Ag and Markets?
What's that?
Will that be through New York State Ag and
I
Markets?
work with Ag and Markets very closely. That's who I report to. And they haven't heard anything. I just got out of a week-long schooling about 3 weeks ago, and it was a topic there. And everybody was kind of shying away from it. No one was really talking about it.
Do you still do the scales for them?
I still do the scales, but I can't do package checking, weight. So like if I go into a Hannaford, say, and I'm checking raspberries, mushrooms, something like that, I can check weights, check tear weights, check the packaging and make sure that you're getting what you paid for. I can't do that with marijuana. I can only check their scales.
Yeah.
How often do you check, say, grocery stores, gas stations? Does,
I do things, weather based, because I'm a one-man job. So now in the summertime, I'm doing gas stations pretty much every day. I go into grocery stores more in the winter time or a rainy day, something like that. It's periodically when I do it. Primarily, I do it weather based. You know, if you have a huge county like Albany County or Nassau County down in the city, they have a team of people that do it every day. That's why I'm working with Albany County. There's 2 guys up there. That's what they do every day is package checking. So Sean said, yeah, no problem. If I work with those guys one day as cross training, if they can come down here one day. Don't do a lot, but I'm trying to do it like one day a month. I'm trying to cross train with those guys just to get better at it. In a perfect world, I won't find anything wrong and I won't get any fines. I did go in, those guys helped me in Tops in Greenville, and I did submit $5,100 in fines last week, so.
wow, I'll have to talk to them about that.
So you know, it's a learning process, you know, unfortunately, their produce manager wasn't doing his correct job out there and they got caught. Now, these Albany guys go into their supermarkets and they get that a lot in the beginning, and then they'll go 6-8 months and not find anything because everybody's doing their job. So in a perfect world, we don't get any fines. I feel like I'll do chain stores. I'm not gonna go into a mom and pop shop on Main Street in our town and find somebody, you know, a lot of money. I would rather educate them, say, this is what I'm looking for. This is what's going on. I'll try to fix it. I'm not looking to put somebody out of business.
Who gets that fine? Who gets the money?
So on a store like that, it's like Tops with prepackaged, it depends what it is. If it's packaged in the store, Tops will get the fine. If it's prepackaged by a farm, that might something short, they'll probably try to get the money back from the packager.
I mean, the revenue, gets that revenue, that goes directly to.
Directly, I don't touch it. I have them send it right to the treasurer's office. In my report, at the end of the year, my yearly report, you can see what fines I get and what fines I don't get.
So the seal, like when you go to a gas station, the seal on the pump, it's like 2 or 3, it's good for 2 or 3 years.
So what you see on the pump is a sticker. That's from when I drive by, I know how to do that Excel spreadsheet. The seal is actually on the meter inside the pump. Those stickers, right now I'm putting blue stickers on. So my blue stickers are even years, my yellow stickers are odd years. When I do the pump, that's when I stamp it. I can
But you don't go back there, you just do it
annually, every year,
every year. Okay.
every year. And
That's
I
my
can
question.
tell you that every pump is done every year. I don't miss one.
Thank you.
You ever have like the supermarket, not to pick on Tops, but did the produce manager know what they were doing wrong? Did you
Yes.
like show them and say, hey, you were doing
All
this?
produce managers know exactly what Weights and Measures does. That's their job. They know. They just get laxed at it. I was just talking with Mike about it, with Mike's moisture evaporation and stuff like that. it does get off. And if I find one or two packages, I'm not gonna find it. If I find 12, yeah, I'm gonna find it.
So is that an excessive amount? Did you
Yeah,
say
yeah, I don't
$1,500?
know if you guys remember, but a few years back, we had this thing with cement. And it actually traced back right to cement, they were bagging in there, 90 pound bags were 70 pounds, 65 pounds. It was a big thing, it turned into a statewide thing on Greene County.
No, but I mean, tops getting hit, did you say?
Yeah, you know, it was massive fines, they were not massive findings. It was 80% one of the items I found that was bad. There's like 25 items out of 32 were bad. But I'm out there looking.
Thank you.
How often do you find a skimmer?
So, the one last year is the last one I found, it's the technology hasn't caught up with it yet. It's a constant battle, that's why I go to school, learn about it, I work directly with the Secret Service, they teach us on scammers, I just got out of school for it, like I said, 3 weeks ago. But they're always fighting technologies, they're always getting something new that we can't see. But all the old style scammers, I check, whenever I'm doing a gas pump, I'm looking for scammers. I get a complaint, someone calls me up and say, hey, I think my car got hacked at so-and-so gas station. I drop what I'm doing, I go there and check, even if it's after hours or whatever. I feel like that's a priority for me, so I do get the calls a lot. 95% of the time, it's not a scammer in a pump, it's something else, but their car just got hacked. But the last one I did find, they did hack the state troopers' went cars. They get it. It was a big thing.
Could you quickly speak to EV stations and the measurement or lack thereof?
So EV stations, as of right now, there is no equipment to check a electronic car charger, which I feel no matter what, they're coming. And there should be a way to check them. You gotta know, you know, you're paying for X amount of electricity to charge your car, and it's not cheap. People have electric cars. You know, you go to these charging stations, it costs $50 to charge up a car. There's no way, there's no equipment right now that's working foolproof that says you're getting that much charge for that amount of money. The state is working on getting a charger. They have one. I think they have 3 of them in the state of New York right now. So they're not gonna let Greene County use that anytime soon. You know, they're using them in Nassau County and stuff, Buffalo and stuff like that. But
Had a battery that wasn't up to par. It's not gonna charge right either.
no, I'm thinking it's gotta be a piggyback plug that goes in between the charger and the car, that goes to something that's checking what you're getting. Yeah, because it's just a meter, whether we like it or not, essentially, it's like a meter on your house. I get those calls too. How do I know the Central Hudson's charging me the right price? No, out of my league.
Plug it in like another kilowatt an hour.
Correct.
In other words, you can't check the electric and don't mess with the marijuana.
Correct.
And don't burn propane, and don't burn fuel oil, and don't burn wood.
But I can check if you're getting a quarter
Don't
wood.
frack natural gas. All right. When I get mine delivered, I'm gonna have you come up and do that.
What's that?
So when I get mine delivered, I'm gonna have you come up and do that.
Sure.
Stack it all right up.
You help me stack it.
As soon as you're done stacking them. Lance, we appreciate you coming in.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like I said, I had that audit and I know you guys got it and it was a very, very long audit and I just want to explain it. I feel like I did it extremely well in the audit and the auditor told me I was the best one out of all the counties she audited and she felt like I was the best one. But, at least that
The first, so.
yeah, and I explained a lot to her. No, but she kept calling me back for questions after questions, what other counties, and she was at our school learning about weights and measures. She pretty much told everybody at the school that I did a good job. I just wanted to relate to you. I want to let you guys know that I actually like my job and I'm out here doing it. Had a good audit.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Lance. For coming out for the meeting.
Okay. Got it, moving right along now.
Give him a raise.
Thanks. Thank you. This guy, you got some shoes to fill here now.
Going through my report, hopefully it's gonna be fairly quickly. We went over County Route 40 Maple Crest Maple Crest Road Bridge in Wyndham. Everything else is pretty much on schedule. Just two of the items that I'd like to touch upon is the County Route 61 slope stabilization and road repair, and the County Route 23B slope stabilization and sidewalk repair. The drone and survey work has been completed. They flew a drone over both of those locations and got some good data. I was a little concerned about that just because of the foliage, but they said that they've received good survey points. So we're hoping that at least a preliminary design for both of those should be coming shortly. On 23C culvert replacement in the town of Jewett, construction began on June 27th, and we're expecting the precast to be delivered this week. So that project should be wrapping up fairly quickly, and that contractor, Calruso and Sons, is going to be headed out to Halkett to do County Route 1 immediately following it. County Route 67 culvert replacement in the town of Greenville. That's still expected to start at the end of this month, early next month. We were waiting for the precast for that. So as soon as we know for sure that that precast can be delivered, we'll back into it and then the construction will start. Going to the solid waste, we had HHW Day on June 29th. It was a success. We had 231 cars, which is good. The total cost was $28,430. Paul can tell you that there were 28 pallets of paint. I'm not sure the total quantity of that. I tried to get the exact quantity of that, but it's a large amount of paint. So that's good. County doesn't pay for the paint that's collected at HHW Day. But it is good that we did receive it on that day. Everything went well. It was received very well up there in Wyndham. Residential drop-off area in Catskill, the steel is expected to be delivered and erected on August 6th. So that's coming quickly. And the Hunter compost machine should be operational on Thursday. So that's.
Is that the one that was in Catskill?
No.
Okay, no, we bought new ones for Hunter and Socket. Okay.
And that's underneath the portable shed.
Correct. We didn't want to wait for the actual steel structure. It was going to take too long. So we got a temporary structure for now. Hopefully the bears will stay away until we get the permanent metal structure.
Hopefully Mike Ryan's listening, so he can put that in paper.
Put that in the paper.
Good job, thank you.
Thank you. Two of the items that I'd like to discuss for proposed action items is 8 and 9, the diesel and gasoline bids. The diesel bid came in actually slightly lower than last year. Same as the gasoline, so that's for delivery, so it does fluctuate. Questions?
And of course, the towns can piggyback on.
No, this is for the delivery of fuel to one of our fueling stations.
On the drop-off area, is all the concrete work done then?
It's not completely done, but it's.
They do the pads and the wage yet.
Right.
Or what you say, are they on schedule, ahead of schedule? They're on schedule, The building's actually gonna be here a month earlier. Wasn't supposed to be here until September, but it's been very long.
The signs on 23B in Carroll, we need an engineer to tell you where to put them.
The 23B is for the elementary school signs. It's the flashing lights. It's a similar process that we did for the high school, 145. And yes, we have to have PE stamped drawings because if there is an accident, the first thing, why weren't the signs placed in a certain location?
Okay, right.
So if a child gets hit or there's an accident, signage is a huge part of the highway department. We're constantly replacing signage based on reflectivity, and so yes, fortunately, it is a big part of it.
To answer your question on the piggybacking, yes, that is in this resolution for all towns. So it is. Pass that resolution. They have to pass the resolution to accept it to the county.
Correct.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
No, it has to be stipulated in there, and I didn't know if it got taken out. I didn't see that it was taken
Scott,
out.
how are you proceeding? I know we approved too the new system for
Fueling
fueling
stations, we should be, we're trying to finalize that and get that implemented as quickly as possible. You'll be hearing about that next month.
All right.
Another increase.
Thank you.
Okay, moving into the proposed action items. Number one, authorizing advertisement for bid cleaning services for county facilities.
Village.
Village, I'm sorry? Handle. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number two, authorizing advertisement for bid refuse removal from county facilities. Later. Later and Handle, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number three, authorizing the county highway and solid waste superintendent to advertise for bids for abrasives. I'll move that.
Village.
Village second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number four, authorizing the implementation and funding in first instance 100% of federal aid and state Marchicelli program aid eligible cost of a transportation federal aid project and appropriating funds therefore. Martinez. Right. Martinez and Legg. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number five, rescinding resolution number 108-23 entitled Resolution authorizing the implementation and funding of the first instant 100% of federal aid and state Marchicelli's program aid eligibility costs and transportation federal aid project and appropriating funds therefore.
Village.
Village, and I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number six, authorizing the purchase of two used yard tractors. Martinez, Hobart. Martinez and Hobart. Oh,
Maybe we skip one.
did I buy
Yeah.
it?
They all look the same. 108-23.
Wait, 23, you gotta do.
No, you just
No,
did
he did
that.
that.
He did it.
No, we've rescinded it.
Yeah, we
We have to pass a new one.
Right.
Same but different.
Right.
Yeah.
The first one rescinded is the old resolution, the second one passes a new resolution. That's what the requirement was from the state.
I have four as authorizing.
Four was authorizing, five
Five
was
was
rescinding.
rescinding. He
And then
did five.
six is,
Yeah, he did. He did 4 and 5.
yeah, right.
Yeah, where-
I don't have it on mine.
Not on the agenda, top agenda part, but it's in the resolutions as you go forward.
You know what?
You run down.
Old 23 resolution in there, I believe, in the backup.
Yeah, that's the backup.
That's the
That's what's
backup.
being rescinded.
I don't have it.
Here.
Yeah, no, it's, he,
You just want to see if you were awake, Jim.
This is
This is simply a
Rescinding.
Rescinded?
Yeah,
This is the next one. Okay?
it's not even on there.
It's not on.
no, with 5A, you don't have to read
It's the
5A.
backup.
Right.
I
It's
think
just
it's in the
backup.
backup.
Right, that was actually the document that showed the old resolution.
Right.
Correct, so we're good. He's
Yeah,
good.
he's good. Yeah,
We're
he's
good.
good.
Sorry, Jim.
Trying to lose control over here. Jim, I take that back.
Number 6. I have Martin.
Harry's getting you all messed up and he's not even here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Six. So we're all clear.
The second minute,
Uh,
I had Martinez.
And Hobart.
and Hobart.
Hobart, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
Harry's.
Number seven, accepting formal proposal from Greene Manning Engineering and for engineering services necessary for the placement of driver feedback signs on County Route 23B, Main Street, in the town of Carroll.
Martinez.
Village.
Martinez and Bulich, all in favor?
Aye.
Harry told me to vote for it.
Any opposed? That's carried. Number eight, awarding bids for number two diesel fuel,
Village.
Martinez.
Bulich and Legg. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 9, awarding bid for gasoline.
Hobart.
Martinez and Hobart, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Is there anything else that's come before the Public Works Committee?
Motion to close.
Second that.
Leg and Handle second, we are closed.